Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Rowell. Alright, it's been a couple of weeks now since I've done any major projects on the house, and I think I'm ready to start something else. Today, I think we're going to try and start tackling the living room for painting. Now, as you know, my living room is absolutely massive, so I've decided I'm going to kind of break this down into a couple of pieces and probably do it in two parts. So this week we're going to try and do the first part, and it's going to be two of the walls and part of the ceiling. So you know how that begins. That means we got to do a lot of masking to prevent the paint from getting where it doesn't want to be, which is on the floor. So we got to start with that. We got to move some stuff out of the way, but that's going to be the project for the next few days. So let's get going. So as I said before, this room here is massive. This is the largest room in the house. This is probably the equivalent of 3 normal rooms. So what I've decided I'm going to do is I'm going to break it up into parts. So what we're going to do is we're going to paint this wall and this wall first. And we're also going to paint this section of the ceiling. You can kind of see when I painted the hall here, I painted the ceiling on part of it, but I'm going to finish that up. We're going to do this whole section of the ceiling here all the way across, and then, like I said, this wall and this wall. Now, I have this big, massive Guided by Voices collection. The truth is, this collection is going to kind of leak out into the living room here a little bit. I've actually got some of my best stuff that isn't up yet that's going to go on this wall. A couple of posters. I got a couple of guitars down here that are very special, and I've got this I've got the speakers left over from the surround system that came with the speakers, the wimpy ones. But I also got this amp head here, and there's a story about that, and I'll tell you that at some point. But like I said, I want to get some of that stuff on the wall out here, and like I said, we're going to just start working on this. Ultimately, I got to do the whole room, but for now, it's going to be these 2 walls and the ceiling. Now, I've decided that this room is going to be painted a light blue color. I'm going to do this color on my own. It turns out that there was a light blue color I had on my house in California that I really, really liked, and in fact most of the inside was painted that color. Now, a lot of the colors that I painted the house with 10, 15 years ago don't even exist anymore with Behr. And I didn't think I would be able to actually find this color paint, but it turns out I was digging through one of my hard drives the other day, and I found a photograph I'd shot of the top of the paint can. So even though the color isn't technically still being made by Behr, I have the formula for it. So I was able to go over to Home Depot, show them that photo, and they've made me some more of that paint. So that's the color it's going to be, and we're going to do this whole living room area that color. We're going to stick with the white on the ceiling, and then we're going to do the dark blue on the trim like we've done here in the hallway. And I think this will look really nice. I like this color. You know, you may not agree, but whatever. This is my house. You can paint your house whatever color you want. But before I start, I got a lot of moving to do. So basically anything that's in this part of the living room that's from here back needs to go. So this table's got to go. The linen cabinet thing has got to go, the desk has got to go, the telescope's got to go. Everything here on the floor has got to go so I can tape it up and prevent any messes that might come from paint drips. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to start painting the ceiling first, because I always like to work from the top down. That way, if you're painting the ceiling after you've painted the walls, then there's always a possibility you're going to splash paint onto the walls, and it's better to do it from the top down. So we're going to start with that. And of course that means a lot of masking tape and a lot of paint paper. Now, part of the reason I divided in this project in half, not just because of the size, but because I knew there were going to be some things that were going to be a mess. And this is one of those things. It's clear that the heating and air conditioning system was added after the house was built. And when they attached the invents, you gotta remember that the furnace is in the garage here. And the blower for the air conditioner is also in the garage. So to prevent the system from pulling in like carbon monoxide from the cars, all of the intakes to the air conditioner are here, and it's sealed out in the garage. Well, when they added this, I'm just going to put it bluntly, they did kind of a half-assed job. And I knew that the intake vents were a mess in here, but I decided I wanted to take them off and see what's in there. And like I said, it's going to take a little bit of repair work to get this to look good, but we'll make this look good in the end. And hopefully I can repaint those air vents, because they look kind of ugly too, but they've clearly been painted multiple times and they have lots of layers of paint on them. So if I can't, maybe I'll just have to see if I can find some new air vents. But we've got this room pretty much taken apart. This is the controller, or the mounting plate for the thermostat, and there's really only so much I can do about that because I don't want to disconnect that. That's really complex. So what I'm going to do is I'll paint around that with the roller, and then when we get real close, I'll paint underneath that with a brush and clean that up, and that'll look really nice. I got most of the nail holes out. These are all holes that have been in there from before. Those are going to stay because that's for the air smoke detector. This one's going to get patched up. A lot of the holes over here are the holes that were for the pictures, but then there's like things like this that can come down too. So we're going to pull all those off. I'm still kind of pulling all the plates off the walls, and then we're going to take this place up and get it ready, and hopefully tomorrow we can paint. All right, so I got everything off the wall, everything off the ceiling. I've got all the holes that are going to be patching up, ready to be patched up. I think the next thing I'm going to do now is we're going to put down the paper. And I'm going to start like I usually do by running a layer of masking tape along all the surfaces. That way, if there's any little wobble in the wall, it doesn't reflect itself in the paper moving away from the wall. I can always kind of flex the tape a little bit to have it deal with any imperfections. And then we'll just tape over the tape, and we'll be good to go. So that's the next step. I'm going to work on that, and we'll come back when we're done. All right, so we got everything taped up and ready to go. I am going to start tomorrow morning, and we're going to start painting the ceiling in here. You always kind of want to work from the top down so you don't end up splashing paint onto what you've already painted. So I'll paint the ceiling first, then we'll do the walls afterwards. But I like to kind of prepare everything ahead of time. And what I'll need is a little bit of time while the ceiling is drying, and so I'll actually take some of that time, and we'll like patch the holes in the wall and stuff like that. But hopefully we're going to get a coat on hopefully 2 coats on the ceiling tomorrow, and maybe 1 coat on the walls too. So come back tomorrow and we'll pick this up. So I think that's all that I have for today. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.